What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Black American, channel of the free and the brave. Now, today we're going to have a history lesson. That's right. We're going to go back in time. We're going to find out why the Republican Party was founded and who founded the Republican Party. This is something that every single Black person needs to know and needs to understand. Now, before we get into it, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to get up to 9,000 subscribers. And of course, leave your comments down in the comment section so we can have a conversation. Now, without further ado, let's listen to this beautiful Black woman take us to school and give us a history lesson. Let's go.
It's really crazy to me when people don't know like basic historical facts supporting the party of the hooded people.
The hooded people.
I'm just like, they were founded by the Democratic Party, right?
Listen up, liberals.
You do know the Republican Party was established as an anti-slavery party by Black men and abolitionists. You do know that the Republican Party gave us every single civil rights amendment and legislature that we have today, right? You do know that even up to 1964, the Republicans are responsible for breaking the filibuster that the Democrats initiated to block the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
She is cooking.
Okay. You do realize there is no party switch.
No party switch.
Go look at the votes. So you do know that Black people traditionally have always been Republican. It's a party that was founded by Black men. They're responsible for legislation through Reconstruction.
Ooh, she is cooking.
And again, for people that are going to say, oh, but the party switch, again, 1964, the Republicans broke the filibuster to give us the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Who switched?
The hooded people
were
people. Democrats.
Democrats.
Joe Biden was best friends with Robert Byrd, a known man who used to wear a white hood.
KKK recruiter.
I don't know why we have this revisionist history.
Because liberals are crazy.
I even saw a page where there were a lot of, it was predominantly Black Americans having a chat, and they were all like, yeah, we're conservative. We've always been conservative. I'm like, okay, now you're getting somewhere. Our grandparents, our parents, all conservative. And when I say conservative, I mean just like traditional values, predominantly Christian values, like family values, family, God, country, preserving traditional values. Okay. Traditional Christian values is what conservatism is based on. Who's going to tell them?
Who's going to tell them?
Who's going to tell them that this is, you're not switching to Republican? If you did vote Republican, you would just be returning to the party.
You already, you just returning back.
And no, there was no party switch. I keep saying that.
For you liberals that you ran off to vote like a Black woman, here's a Black woman that you should listen to and vote like.
Just completely turned into a Lil Wayne song right there. But look, first of all, conservative women are the most beautiful. I want to throw that out there. But anyway, she gave you guys a history lesson. Now, of course, growing up, this is something we're not taught. I'm trying to think back. Texas history, U.S. history. By the way, I'm my Texas hat. I'm from Texas, by the way, living out here in this absolute cesspool of a Democratic sludge in Washington State. Cannot wait to move back home to Texas. I'm coming back, y'all. I'm coming back. But anyway, we weren't taught this. So I have a little compassion to my Black folks out there who don't know this information. But one thing about the Democratic Party is that they bank on you to not do your research. And when I was voting Democrat, when I was a libtard, I didn't look up anything. I just believed every single thing that I was told. And what happened one day, because I've always been an against the grain type of person. I've always wanted to know what other people think, what the other side thinks. I remember growing up and I would we would go to a Jewish synagogue. We would go to Catholic church. We would go to a mosque because I wanted to know. You know, I grew up Christian, by the way. I just wanted to know. I've put myself in so many different shoes, literally. And that's something that Democrats don't do. And once I started to find out, let me see what's going on Fox News. You know, granted, Fox News, it's legacy media. A lot of it is exaggerated. But I started looking at some of the pundits and the more of the contributors and content creators to see what they were talking about, because you're going to get more of a real solid belief from them. And what I came to realize after that is that Black people, listen up. Black people are way more conservative than they vote. I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the back. Black people vote. Sorry, Black people are way more conservative than they vote. And I posted this one time somewhere, and I got a whole bunch of chuckles and laughs from brainwashed Black people who just, maybe ignorant Black people who just don't know their history. And then I started diving in deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. I found out, like the young lady said, the Republican Party was founded by Black men. I won't say solely, but Black men were a part of it. It was the anti-slavery party. And it's absolutely wild and telling that that particular party gained so much of a following to where, of course, they elected Abraham Lincoln, who was a conservative, freed the slaves. Crazy. And this was a newer party, freed the slaves. Granted, he did say a lot of racist things. He has some racist quotes. I must put that out there because many of you will say that. But he also understood what needed to happen in the country in order to keep the country together. And something in his heart wanted civil rights for people. Moving forward down the line, Democrats created the hooded people. Why were they created? They were created during Reconstruction in order to keep Black individuals out of office, out of political office. Read your history. They actually took lives from people, Black people who were trying to vote and that were in public political offices. There was that much hatred in their hearts. And of course, they created the slave codes, the Black codes, can't remember the law right now, but they created so many things that coincided with what Black people would do after slavery was abolished. And they did their hardest to try to keep them out of so many avenues of influence of this country. And you can just move down the line, down the list. Redlining. I mean, you can move down the list to the Civil Rights Act. Yes, the Civil Rights Act was signed into law by Lyndon B. Johnson, who was a Democratic president. But you got to remember, it wouldn't have gotten to his table unless Congress came together and voted it up to him. And guess who got the most votes to get it to his desk? It wasn't Democrats. They voted against it. The majority of the votes came from Republicans. During that time, Democrats had the longest filibuster in USA history, trying to prevent this act from even passing. Every single piece of civil rights legislation was passed because of Republicans. That's saying something. Party switch. When did the party switch? Because it's been debunked so many times. Even during the time of one of the videos and some of the literature I read trying to find out why people think the party switched, the most I could find was 3 congressmen that converted. 3. Is that a big party switch to you? All of a sudden, slavery, all of a sudden, civil war, all of a sudden, anti-civil rights. And then all of a sudden, you think all of a sudden the party switched? That doesn't even make cognitive sense. You know what? You know, Republicans, we've been against slavery and against civil rights our whole entire existence. But you know what? One day we're for slavery. We're against civil rights. Make it make sense. It doesn't. It is very convenient since all of a sudden we have all these mechanisms to be able to research and do our own research and find out things for ourselves that the Democratic Party wants to say there was a huge switch. No. If you're a Democrat, you are the party of anti-civil rights, period. That's in your history. That is literally in your history, and you're not changing it. More and more Black people are finding out the truth. Black people are coming to the back home. Let me just say back home, like she said, because this is a party that was created by us, for us. FUBU. And it's not you're switching, because if you're voting Democrat today, you already switched. If you want to move back, you're just coming home. And we welcome you with open arms. And then we're not saying that the Republican Party is perfect. We're not saying Trump is perfect. Holman is perfect. JD Vance is perfect. We're not saying that. We're just saying we are here and we fight for the whole of the country. Every single American. Not just particular groups. Not just particular causes. We look at the whole of the pie. And we try to make the best situation for every single person collectively. Now, I don't know how we got duped. And back to Lyndon B. Johnson, who actually signed the Civil Rights Act into effect, only due to majority conservative votes. He literally said, I'm going to have these N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. And you guys will not accept the fact that what he said is coming true. When will you wake up? How many more of these videos, how much more truth is going to have to be presented to you before you just wake up and like, I've been duped? Famous quote, it's way easier to fool someone than it is to convince someone they've been fooled. Party switch. Biden. In the 90s, he wrote the crime bill that still has some of our fathers, uncles, dads locked up today over minor drug charges. He wrote that bill. Gave it to Bill Clinton. He put into act. Extremely racist bill, because what it did, it criminalized crack cocaine way more than cocaine. Why? Black people were more subject to be in possession of crack cocaine. And if you got a cocaine possession, you got a slap on the wrist. Who could afford cocaine? White folks. We know that. And you know what? You guys went and voted this man into the presidency. Oh, God. Craziness. After he said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Like, he knows what blackness is. I had a conversation with my sister once. I talked to her about all this kind of stuff. You know, at the end of that conversation, she said, oh, well, you did your research. Voted for Jasmine Crockett. One of the most dumbest, ratchet representations that we could possibly have. Just because we have the same skin color doesn't mean we have to vote for you. You got to represent us in a certain way. With dignity, respect, honor. And some of the things, I'm gonna make another video about that. I'm not even get into her. But anyway, All I want to say is, and conclude this video, is Black people, please do your research. Please do your research. Understand what's going on. The Democratic Party is here to promote infant genocide. We kill the most babies to date inside the womb. We could probably be a majority in this country if we weren't killing 400,000 babies before they're born a year. That should be embarrassing. You a sellout if you're doing that. 2, do you want men in women's sports? Is that what you support? That's what the Democrats support. Do you want your minor children to be trans over? You don't. I know Black people, we don't agree with that. That's what you're voting for. Do you want illegals here voting? Democrats are literally trying to vote down the Save America Act, which is only requiring you to have valid ID showing you're a citizen. What's wrong with that? That is common sense. Only 88% of Americans want it. So how are the small amount of politicians able to vote against what we want? That's what you're voting for. I could go down a list of more things that Black people don't agree with. We agree with family. 2A, gun rights. We want the government out of our business. Less taxes. Democrats, they want more of that. And this kind of infuriates me sometimes because I'm just like, wake up, people, because sometimes I feel like we are the dumbest voting demographic in America. What are the demographic votes one way at a 90% clip? That just literally says we have no thought of our own. There's no possible way 90% of us vote one way, and we all think that. I've talked to so many people that just say, I just got to vote blue no matter who, man. Don't be scared. Come on over because we're coming in droves. If you would just give yourself time to just scour the internet, find other people, other Black people who are moving away. Because after 60, 70 years, what have we gotten from the Democratic Party? What have we gotten? They've given so many things to everyone else. Asians, Hispanics, the Dreamers, DACA, the illegal immigrants that they moved over here and drove, and the Biden administration just allowed them to come through like a Congo line, allowing millions in the country. And y'all mad it's a big backlash of ICE deporting them out. What did you expect? You thought you was going to allow millions in here and there wasn't going to be a reaction to that? No. What do you believe in? What are your true beliefs and thoughts, ideas? Because like I said, Black people are way more conservative than we vote. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to get up to 9,000 subscribers. Leave your comments down in the comment section. I really want to know what you think. Black people, white people, Asians, Hispanics. What do you think about this topic? Let me know, because this is something that hits very close to home to me for obvious reasons. This is the Black American channel of the free and the brave.